All right, guys, welcome to my podcast studio / office / upstairs of my apartment here in Austin, Texas. It's not too fancy, but it gets the job done, and that is the point of today's video. You see, I have a running theory that all of us are sick of the overly edited, overly optimized, overly produced BS that is shown over and over again, especially in these situations. So I got quoted $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to make this video professionally with all the proper editing, proper lights and everything. But what I believe, candidly, is I'm talking to me 4 years ago, and me 4 years ago just wanted the content. I just wanted the pure, unadulterated information. Give it to me straight. I don't care about all the rest of the stuff. So today, let me introduce you to my studio. I've got my golf bag and my carry-on that I take to travel with me as my camera setup. I do have a light here. I have my irons from the golf bag on the floor, and my driver. I do have a tailor-made stuff that boosts my credibility. But today we're gonna go on this whiteboard right here, and we're gonna tell you every single thing that you need to know, all the best stuff, 100% for free. Sit with me for a couple of minutes, no editing, we're just gonna get to it. All right, guys, after 600 hours of coaching calls and 2,000 hours plus of interviewing multimillionaire entrepreneurs, I can tell you that this right here is the answer to all of your problems. The simplest, most guaranteed, best framework for you to go from full-time employee to full-time entrepreneur. Now, before we get started, who is this video not for? Please stop watching this video if you do not know how to save money. If you have no cash cushion, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're making below $50,000 to $60,000 a year and you've never figured out how to save money in your life, you have no idea about investing, stock market, real estate, business acquisition, stop here, go listen to the Action Academy podcast, and please save up a 3-month cash cushion emergency fund before you do any of this stuff. Now, for the rest of my peeps that are making over $60,000, you're saving money, you do know about real estate, you've read the books, you listen to the podcast. Let's get into the 4 steps, baby. First thing we're gonna start with is capital C, clarity, because what you are asking over and over again, this is where you're getting stuck. How? How do I leave my job? How do I replace $10,000 plus per month in active income, passive income so I can leave this job? How am I gonna do it? How am I gonna find the people, the peers, partners, the mentors, the investment strategy, all this stuff? So you are so stuck right here, you're so in the forest that you can't see the trees, okay? So, first thing we're gonna do, we're not going to focus on how. We're gonna change our first original question to where, okay? Where are we going? Show of hands, who suffers from analysis paralysis? Every hand in the room should be up, right? Do you wanna do Airbnb, flipping, Burr, multifamily, mobile home parks, self-storage, buying businesses? You want to buy a laundromat, a car wash, a service business? There's so many different paths and so many different assets to pick from. So how do you pick an asset, right? What if I told you that you're asking the wrong question? Once again, example. So this is the highway. Life is a highway. Shout out Rascal Flats. Sorry, guys. So here's your car right here. Here's the wheels. Here's your door. And then here's your hand out the window. So you're going down this infinite highway, and this car that you pick is your asset class. So we spend all of our time, energy, and effort at the car dealership perusing around trying to figure out what asset is best for us. Which car do we want to take on this journey, to wherever we're trying to go, correct? So say that you pick an asset class. You choose Airbnb, you choose multifamily, you choose business buying, correct? And you pull out of the car dealership, you're super excited to post on Instagram and say, I'm an Airbnb investor now. And you start driving down this infinite highway, okay? So you keep going and going and going until eventually you realize you have no idea where the heck you're heading to. So eventually what happens to a car if you just drive and drive and drive? You don't fill up the gas, you don't change the oil, you don't stop for rest. The car breaks down on the side of the road, okay? What does this look like in life? It looks like burnout, depression, weight gain, fatigue, divorce, sickness, cancer. It looks like all of these different things, and we wonder why the heck we're so anxious all the time. And we wonder why we're not moving towards our goals. We don't know what our goals are. How are you moving towards anything if you don't have a GPS set? So clarity is setting your GPS so that when you get in the car, you know exactly where you're headed. If you're going to freaking Disney World, Google Maps is gonna take you there, okay? That's the point of all of this. And that's why this is the most important concept for you to understand throughout everything we talk about today. So now that we know why or where is important, here's the framework that's gonna help you accomplish any goal. It's gonna help you buy more real estate, buy more business, do anything that you want in life, no matter what asset class you pick. I call it the CVC Framework. First C, clarity. Second V, volume. Third C, consistency. Okay? Clarity, volume, consistency. So there are 3 reasons that you're not hitting any goal that you set, whether that's in your corporate job, your professional career, or in your investing journey to leave that job and go from employee to entrepreneur. CVC. You are either unclear of the goal or the 3 singular actions that you take weekly to accomplish the goal. You're unclear of the goal, you're unclear of the actions. You aren't performing the correct volume of said actions. So if you're making cold calls, it may take you 100 cold calls to yield a new customer, but you're only making 10 a week. So you may be clear about the correct action, but you're taking the wrong volume. Most of the problem is in step 1 and step 2. Now, magic happens when you are clear about your goal, you're clear on your action, you are clear that you're taking the correct amount of volume, but now it's just a consistency game. For my podcast, I want 1 million downloads. I'm posting daily. I can't increase the volume. I'm aware that it's the correct actions to take. So now it's just a matter of time and patience. So you're either unclear of what you're doing, you're not doing enough of it, or you haven't done enough of it long enough to accomplish your goal, okay? That's the CVC framework. Now that we've answered why clarity is important, we're going to go now into the tactics on how to create it, because this is the singular tactic that is the common denominator across every single entrepreneur, multimillionaire that I've interviewed is this. We are going to form our first vivid vision. Now, a vivid vision is a detailed document highlighting what your life and what your business looks like 3 years into the future. So it's like you're stepping your foot into a time machine and you're writing out in present tense, this is what I'm experiencing in my life. And I know that this works, guaranteed, because it's 2023 as I'm recording this, and I wrote my first vivid vision in 2020. Now it's 3 years for a reason, because 5 years is too much to control, and 3 years is a perfect amount of time to accomplish the impossible. So when I was sitting in my corporate cubicle, I wrote out this vision where I would walk outside on my balcony and I could see the town of Mykonos in front of me. I could feel the heat from the sun on the cobblestones, and I didn't have anything to do in the morning, and I was going to take calls in the afternoon, doing what I want, when I want, with who I want. I wrote all that out, and this is the most important thing that you can do. Now, this is a book by the author Cameron Herold. He's a personal friend of mine now. I would highly recommend getting this book if you haven't already, and I also hosted him on my podcast. The process of creating your vivid vision is doing what's called a mind map. So you're going to start with some big questions. Where, what, who, how. So you're gonna just draw these big circles on a piece of paper, and now we're gonna start filling in the blanks. If you won the lottery tomorrow and you never had to think about money again, what is your dream life looking like? So where are you living? Where are you vacationing? What are you doing in your day-to-day? What does your routine look like? What do you care about? How do you feel? How do you go about your day? And who are you with? You know, are you with your family? Are you taking care of your parents? You know, all this is really, really important. And what this does is it really sets our GPS and it answers the question, what the heck do you want? Remember that scene in The Notebook where he's banging on the car window and he's like, what do you want? This answers the question. Now, because we have our vivid vision established, once this is done, we can move into the next stage, which is cash flow. Now we know what we want and where we're heading. Now we can focus on how much that life actually costs, okay? So what amount of monthly income do we need coming in to support our dream life that we just established, right? So how much does that mortgage cost of that dream lake house that you want? Do you want a boat? Cool, how much does that cost? Do you have your kids in private school? Cool, how much does that cost? Do you have a private chef? How much does that cost? Are you just living in a cabin by the woods making candles? Cool, it may not cost that much. The actual irony of this is the cost of your dream life is actually normally less than what you think it is. Okay? Which is actually really, really freeing when we take that into account, because right now you're probably trying to replace $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 of income monthly through passive investments. And that's a very, very difficult place to start. So instead of doing that, what we're actually going to do is tackle this into bite-sized chunks. So there's 3 levels of cash flow. Okay? There's survive, arrive, and thrive. Now, when I left my job, I was making $260,000 a year. So I had to replace about $20,000 a month in cash flow. That is really intimidating to look at when you only had $4,000 coming in per month, which is what I did. So first thing you do is figure out what are your fixed expenses. How much money do you need to replace to be able to just survive? Your mortgage is paid, your kids' stuff is paid, you have food on the table, you can survive. Now you're not going out to eat, you're not doing all the discretionary spending, but you have enough. So for me, that $4,000 was enough for me to actually survive because I was house hacking and living for free. So I could do the $4,000 a month. So for me, it was $4K, okay? Now arrive is the second level of cash flow. When you're at the arrive stage, now you're able to have a little bit of discretionary spending and introduce fun back into your life. So at this amount of cash flow, I'd say about $6,000 to $8,000. I was like, okay, I can kind of live the normal life that I was living in my corporate job. Does that make sense? Thrive was 20K. Thrive, I'm like, man, I can do anything I want under the sun. I can ball out here, okay? So now, instead of having all the anxiety of focusing on this number to get started, because right now you maybe have 2 properties, 10 properties, maybe you're making around this $4,000 number, which is the most people I talk to. This is really intimidating going from here to here, okay? So if we can get our expenses here and then really swing for the fences here, oh my God, you're dangerous, you're unstoppable. So here's another thing that the online gurus aren't telling you. It is very difficult to passive income your way to 6 figures. It's very, very hard. Or at the very minimum, it's gonna take you 5 to 10 years. It's very difficult to do this. I know a lot of people that have done it over a prolonged period of time. So our strategy is we're not going to just do passive income. We will build passive income. Passive income is extremely important, but we're going to do it through a combination of active plus passive income. So examples of active income. If you buy a business, of course we all want to hire an operator to run that full time, but I would still kind of call that as active income because you're most likely going to be in that business to stabilize it. If you're running an Airbnb business, it's basically hospitality. That's going to be more so on the active side because what you need to realize is active and passive is a spectrum. It's not binary, one or the other. It's a road between the two. So the active income will help us compensate for the passive income, okay? It'll make up that delta. Because if you're replacing $20,000 a month, I replace 10 to 15,000 of that through my podcast and through doing affiliate ads for other companies and for other services, which I had no idea how I was gonna do that. So examples of active that you could do: flip, wholesale, buying businesses. A lot of different strategies you can do to have big cash injections, 30,000, 50,000. I had one guy in the group sell a self-storage facility for 224,000, completely replaces his income in one deal. So this is the active side, and then we take that money and we put it into passive assets, if that makes sense. And then this is all leading to what's the most important thing that I preach. Passionate income. So what my goal is for all of you watching this video is to take you from captive income, which is working for your job, working for somebody else, to passive income to cover your survive, cover your fixed expenses, to take you to passionate income. Passionate income is doing what you love to do while making money for it. So this is what they talk about in elementary school when they say when you doing what you love, you don't work a day in your life. That is passionate income. And it's literally what I'm doing right here as I'm filming on top of a freaking golf bag and a suitcase for you guys. It's doing what you love and getting paid to do it. So now this is earned. Like this isn't something we can just willy-nilly obtain. It's something that we have to earn through the businesses, through the real estate, through the community, through all this different stuff. So you go from captive income to passive income to passionate income to massive impact. And now we're impacting your team, your family, your community, the world at large, because you are living in your zone of genius and you are doing exactly what you're meant to do on this earth. That is the meaning of life. So notice that we're not talking about how to underwrite, how to analyze Airbnbs or multifamily properties, right? Because that's the how, remember, that you were caught up in. But the secret is, all the stuff we're talking about is actually the more difficult part of the process. The how is simple because it's documented everywhere. YouTube, podcasts, books. We have all the information, and ironically, we get the information more easily through our who's. So our who's are our community. Now, when you're looking for people, which is the ultimate investment that you could ever make, you're looking for two separate people, okay? So say that this is Mount Everest and that this is you at the bottom. Would you climb Mount Everest by yourself, solo? No, you would die. We don't want you to die. We want you to thrive and be alive, right? So in order to climb Mount Everest, you need people. So this is my terrible drawing of people. So you need the guide and you need the team. So in life, you need the coaches and the mentors that have already been to the mountaintop, and they've planted their flag, and they've been up and down the mountain for years and years and years, sometimes decades, and they know the best, most proven path to get to the top of the mountain. Now, you are at the bottom. You've never climbed Everest. You've never even been in Nepal. So you need that person to show you the way so that you don't die. In worst case, in best case, you get up the mountain as fast as possible, as safely as possible, right? So what this looks like in business is we want to make sure you don't go bankrupt. We want to make sure you don't do bad deals. We want to make sure that you don't get screwed over by partnerships that are in bad faith. Okay? This is where the mentor can have that perspective and help you. So when you're investing in a coach or a mentor, you're literally just buying your time back because you're buying their decades worth of experience. So instead of figuring this out in 10 years, maybe you figure it out in 1. That's the whole point of people. So now you also equally need the team of people. So this is your climb squad. So as you're climbing up the mountain, you go, oh my God, this is hard. Frowny face. Okay? Because it's difficult. Anything worth having, any summit worth summiting is very difficult to do. So in order to do this, when you realize what's required from your coach and you're halfway up the mountain up here, your climb team is what keeps you going. So you have people in front of you and people behind you that are pulling you up and pushing you to continue going even when things get very, very difficult and scary. They're there for the emotional, the tactical, the financial, and the philosophical and mental support. So cash flow will get you out of your job. Community right here is what keeps you out of your job. That's the secret. Now, if you made it this far in the video, it means that you like what I'm saying and that you've gotten some value from how I've said it, right? And hopefully you think I'm a little bit funny too. So bonus points, 10 points to Gryffindor for that. So if you are looking for a community, it is very difficult to find peers, partners, and mentors. I know this because I did this by myself for the longest period of time. Over 5 years, I was trying to lone wolf this and it doesn't work. So what we have and why I'm making these videos is the Action Academy community. The reason the Action Academy exists, the community, is because I believe that online courses are dead. And I think in the next 3 to 5 years, we're gonna start to pivot away from courses and go towards community because information is not the answer. We have all the information we need. And personally, I'm ADHD, and I'm not gonna sit and watch hours and hours and hours of module videos, even if they're the best videos and I pay $20,000 for them. Guilty. I've done it. Trust me, so I know I'm not gonna do it. So community is the answer because at some point, there will come a period of time, which you're probably at right now if you're still watching this video, where you need to go from focusing on investing in passive assets to investing in people, all right? So right now, if you're watching this and this is resonating with you, you probably have maybe 3 to 30 rental properties, or maybe you have 1 or 2 and it's working for you, but now you're trying to figure out, okay, how the heck do I scale this thing faster? Because you're realizing that the $200 per month cash flow that your rental properties are providing you aren't really wetting your whistle and they're not actually moving you that much closer towards your goals. So you're like, how are these people doing these massive deals and how do I get in touch with them, right? Because you're lacking 4 different things if you aren't hitting these goals. You're lacking confidence, cash flow, clarity, and community, right? Like that's what you're lacking. So our group exists to remedy this problem. So what we do is we serve sprinters. So if you are a sprinter, that means that you're running 100 miles an hour. You're like, get out of my way. You're looking to your left, you're looking to your right. Everyone around you is walking or jogging, right? And you want to move fast and you're confused about why everyone else around you wants to move slow. All your friends, all your family, all of your coworkers, they're all moving at like 2 miles an hour and you want to move fast. So what happens if a sprinter is surrounded by joggers and walkers? They go slower, right? And now you're doling your sparkle, like you're doling your shine so that you can blend in with an average community and average people. So sprinters need to be around other sprinters because not only does it keep you sprinting, but it helps you sprint faster. Okay? So community is the antithesis of information because what we do is we help you move towards your goals faster. So when you invest in a community, you're simply buying your time back. So I did this, I'm a product of it, because I was trying to leave my job in 5 years, I was able to do it in 6 months. So I bought 4.5 years of my life back through investing in communities myself. And I currently invest about $227,000 a year in communities. But don't worry, we do not cost that. Now, at this point, we're gonna continue the video, but if you are interested in applying for membership, click in the link below. Obviously, you have this giant flashing schedule / book a call button. That's why we're doing these videos, because I want to be a lighthouse calling all the ships to harbor and letting you know that we have your people. Not only do we have the people that are at the top of the mountain, once again, we have all these people. I interview them on my podcast every single day. I have access to multimillionaires, a new one, every single day, 5 days a week. We're adding new millionaires to the community. So you have these people between the $5 to $50 million net worth that will show you how to do the deals. They'll partner with you. They have capital to invest. They're going to help you mitigate your risks so that you're not messing up on deals. And then you also have all the people down here. It's a freaking party. You have a fiesta hat. It's not a mountain. It's a fiesta hat. It's a party hat. And you guys are all partying together because you found your people. So say that you've got 9 rental properties and then this guy's got 12, this guy's got 13, this guy's doing this cool Airbnb strategy, this girl has got self-storage. You're like, whoa, what the heck? So that's where you conspire down here. And this level is aspire. So you need people to conspire with and aspire to be. So if you're interested in booking a call to find out more about this, it's literally what I do. I quit my job, I sold all my real estate, ironically, so that I can have enough cash flow right now to sit on and focus full-time on building this freaking community for you. This is specifically what I do, is I help you get out of your freaking job. Whenever you have the right who in place, this is where we begin to apply leverage. So you apply leverage through your coach, through your community, and through your team. This is compound leverage, the final C. So your coach is going to buy your time back because, for instance, I have a business coach that I pay $50,000 a year to, and I wanted to grow this to a certain level and with a certain sophistication, and I knew that it would take me 5 to 10 years to figure out. So now I'm doing it in year 1. So we'll gross $1 million this year. So I don't need your money, candidly. I wanna make sure it's the right fit for you. You need your community. So this is gonna be people to partner with. Have operators all across the country. So now you're not geographically confined to your small town or to just where your local market is. Now you have operators across the country. And now you can start to build a team. So the first person on your team is your executive assistant. And this is a topic for a whole separate call to where we can go over how to hire your first executive assistant. Now, you've already signed up to the email list, so what I'll probably do is make a whole separate video and just give you more stuff for free because I rock, candidly, and I'll send you a full video on how to do this. But when it comes to the coach in the community, like AAC, baby. Action Academy community. This is what we're here for. This is what we're meant to do. At this point in the video, now that we're at the end, I have accomplished my goal. I didn't want the fancy studio, the fancy editing, to do a marker, a whiteboard, a golf bag to sit my freaking iPhone on, and now everything is just purely content and value. I hope to over deliver in value in every single interaction that you and I have, whether it's virtually, in person, or within our group. So guys, if you are wanting to at least check it out, just go click book a call. It's normally gonna be with me or someone very high on my team that's gonna talk you through it. Our objective is not to freaking sell you on anything. Our objective is to help you make a decision because candidly, we're not going to extend an invitation if it's not a good fit, because if you're not a good fit for the community, culture-wise, financially, any of the above, then that hurts the current members that are already in. So we don't want you to buy, we only want you to join if it's the right fit. So guys, I invite you to book right there. Let's talk. I want to talk to you more. And if not, perfectly fine. Hope you enjoyed the free value and go check out the Action Academy podcast. You can hear me talk every single day of the week. See ya.